It seems more Americans are packing heat in public, and now members of a controversial new group are bringing their guns around with them everywhere, not only to rallies, but to stores, even family dinner. They're certainly making waves with this approach to bearing arms, but are there civil liberties encroaching on public safety? Here's ABC's Byron Pitts.
We're gonna do a little open carry at Chili, guys. Got my BZ-58.
Just imagine you're sitting down to dinner with your family at a restaurant when in walks a handful of men armed with assault rifles. Are you frightened?
911, what is the emergency?
It looked like I seen 4 white men walking towards the Jack in the Box with assault rifles.
Angry?
There's children here, and you're a dumbass.
Or do they make you feel safe?
If a bad guy comes, there's a lot of good guys here to protect me.
That's the question at the center of a growingly bitter, increasingly public battle surrounding a group of gun-carrying activists brazenly flexing their legal right to bear arms.
This is probably the safest corner in San Antonio right now.
They call themselves Open Carry Texas. Their enthusiasm for packing heat in public has led national chains like Chipotle, Chili's, and Jack in the Box to ask customers to leave their weapons at home. What they're doing is perfectly legal. Gun control advocates detest it. Late-night comics have built entire routines around it.
We're here, we've got gear, get used to it.
You guys aren't just firearm enthusiasts, you're ammo-sexuals.
Far more than a punchline, Open Carry Texas has become the line in the sand between those in America who fear guns, their violent use, and those who fear losing their guns.
Everybody say freedom.
Freedom! This is sort of my around-the-house AR-15.
I've never quite heard it phrased that way.
My around-the-house AR-15?
Yeah.
This is the man behind Open Carry Texas, Master Sergeant C.J. Grisham, a 20-year U.S. Army veteran and father of 3. He keeps his own arsenal of assault rifles in his bedroom closet, from his and hers AR-15s to weapons for his children.
All my weapons are always loaded. All it is a big beating stick if it's not loaded.
Grisham says one traumatic event, caught on a police dash cam, was the spark that ignited Open Carry Texas.
I was arrested last year. My son and I were going on a hike.
Grisham says he brought along that rifle strapped across his chest to protect them from wild animals.
About halfway through our hike, a police officer approached.
Some reason why you have this?
Because I can.
Well, okay.
Since carrying a rifle is legal in Texas, even without a license, Grisham believes what happened next was illegal.
Oh, hey, no, don't disarm me, man. Hey! All right.
And at that point, he pulled his gun, stuck it to my head, and threw me into the car.
Grisham's 16-year-old son, Chris, also videotaped the arrest. His father, taken to jail, later convicted of interfering with police duties.
Okay, now I'm going to do everything you say. Hey, dude!
You know, my son had to watch this whole thing.
You alarm people and they call us and we can...
Okay, and did you explain to them what the law is, sir?
Grisham told us he's still battling the demons from tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. The arrest triggered one of the worst episodes of PTSD he's ever endured.
You can ask me for my weapon.
You know, I've always been a gun rights advocate, but this turned me into an activist.
And how long are you keeping me in jail for?
That arrest video took off and a movement was born.
It's the first flag we ever had ordered.
With a goal to expand open carry rights in the state of Texas. While it's legal to openly carry so-called long guns like AR-15s and AK-47s, state law prohibits the open carry of handguns. Grisham wears a plastic pistol every day to symbolize his fight to expand open carry laws.
And that's the bottom line for you, the right to openly carry a pistol.
Right, and you know, once we get that, people aren't going to be walking around with rifles, and you probably won't even see a whole bunch of people walking around with pistols, but we should have that opportunity.
Nearly every week, Grisham, his wife Emily, and often their 12 and 16-year-old hit the road to attend open carry marches across Texas.
Oh, our guns are kissing.
Aww.
This night, he invited us along to a rally in San Antonio.
Here are people with guns, and they're not shooting up a school, they're not shooting up a business, they're not robbing a bank.
There are folk in the country who you are scaring, right?
I realize that there are people that have what I call an irrational fear of guns.
Grisham stressed the fact he always calls ahead to alert police about their marches. We meet nearly 24 well-armed supporters, from retirees to children, men and women, gun lovers of every race.
So often when these kinds of events are covered by the media, right? I may see this gentleman, I may see that gentleman, but I don't see you there.
My house was robbed by 5 guys about 4 months ago. The police did nothing. So therefore, I think it's my duty to protect my family. Crime really has no color.
Open carry members waving, passing out flyers on one of San Antonio's busiest intersections. Most motorists are supportive, but some.
What do you think of these guys? Hi.
Nuts! What do you think?
I'm a journalist. I'm here getting people's opinion.
Run away!
I had my first flip off today.
What did they do?
They put me off.
Amidst the smiles, there is hardline rhetoric, deep contempt for those who see the spike in mass murders as a cause for greater gun control.
Instead of standing on the bodies of those dead children as a soapbox and trying to rein in gun rights, there's more people that are killed by hammers and clubs and fists than by firearms.
Actually, the latest FBI data shows that firearms are responsible for 69% of homicides in America, clubs and fists 9%. But the nation's gun debate is far more than statistics. It's emotion, mass murder that cannot easily be explained away. From Aurora to Sandy Hook.
One line of reasoning one might think is that someone like yourself who has seen the results of what can happen when a gun is used against another human being, that you might be more inclined than the average person to want to restrict who has access to that kind of power.
No, I don't see it that way. I'm sure some people probably do.
He spoke to us openly about his battle with PTSD, including the memories of the 7 people he says he killed in combat.
I can picture exactly how that person fell, how that person, limped off or tried to get away.
For those who would hear that part of your journey and say, here's someone who understands better than most the demons that can exist with mental health issues.
Going back to my PTSD, regardless of everything I've been through and how I felt when I got angry, I never once reached for a gun. The way to deal with a mentally disturbed person with a gun is a sane person with a gun.
Of course, gun control advocates strongly disagree. And right now, Open Carry Texas is at the center of a massive petition movement led by a group called Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America.
There's no background check required, there's no training required, and there's no licensing required. So anyone can be walking around with one of these long guns, and they carry them around loaded.
Carolyn is part of the movement pressuring stores like Target and Home Depot to ban open carry in their stores.
The companies need to do the right thing, and they need to provide a safe environment for their consumers.
But Grisham and his supporters believe more guns means greater safety. And his movement is growing, gun owner by gun owner.
Did anybody want a flag or a t-shirt?
Where does all this end, you think?
As long as there are people that don't think law-abiding citizens should have guns, this is going to be a struggle that's going to go on forever.
For Nightline, I'm Byron Pitts in San Antonio.